We're going to talk about good wounds today. It sounds kind of weird to say because we know that wounds can hurt and wounds can heal. As we've talked about in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And so what you hear can affect your soul. It can have a definitive touch that can change the trajectory of your life. Especially when you start to believe the words that are being spoke over you. When you begin to invest your perspective, when you allow those things to begin to affect your heart, when you begin to allow those things to, for lack of a better way of saying it, when you begin to allow those things to implant themselves in you, they begin to change you. They begin to change the way you see the world around you. The words that are spoken over you over a period of time can become like the glasses we wear, a lens through which we see life. And if we're not careful, the way that we see life can change so much that loving words, kind words, appropriate words are seen in ways that confuse, in ways that make us feel less, in ways that make us feel pain. But this morning, I want to come at you at a different angle. Last week we talked about gossip and slander. And we are seeing that on the front pages of news articles. We're seeing that on the front pages of our devices. Whether those be phones or tablets. I broke my daughter's this morning. Whether that be, our computers, whatever it is, whatever screen that we're looking at or newspaper we're looking at, we are seeing slander all around us. I mean, it's just everywhere. And then you add to that the idea that we live in a small community and people talk. I mean, I heard someone say once, you sneeze and the town knows. Now, my wife would say I sneeze and the town knows because I literally rattle the house when I sneeze. But this morning, though, I want to ask you just an important question. Have you ever been shocked to life by the words of a friend? Okay. Listen to the statement again. All right. Now, have you ever been shocked by the words of a friend? Have you ever been shocked to life by the words of a friend? I can count several times that friends have come to me, that people that I trust, people that I have confidence in, have come to me and spoken hard truths and changed the way that I live, the way that I exist, the way that I act, the way that the person I am. You see, sometimes we're willful in our sinfulness. I mean, sometimes we're just messed up, and it's just that. I mean, a number of years ago we talked about sin and how it's been watered down so much that a lot of preachers, myself included, have said, well, all of us make mistakes. Well, some of those mistakes are willful mistakes. So we're not mistakers, okay? We're sinners. And so some of those things are willful actions. Some of those things are things that we know we shouldn't do. Some of the things that we have done, we've been complicit in. And other times, there's like this underlying thing that's happening inside of us, and we're just not quite sure why or what, but we feel ourselves kind of dragged down, and our friend sees it in us, and they speak to us in a bold sense and say, here, you need to hear this. So, you're like, oh wow, I had no idea. I didn't know that was going on. I mean, I didn't know that it was happening. I didn't know that I was doing that. I didn't know that I was existing like that. Sometimes it's willful. Sometimes it's just ignorance. Forgive me. I've been ignorant too. Don't ask my wife. You guys are not laughing this morning. Come on. All right, this is one of those ones, though, that like, honesty doesn't always feel so good. In fact, it downright hurts at times. At times, people will say, hey, friend, the way that you are living, the way that you are acting, the way that you are behaving is just plain unacceptable. And here's the truth for you guys that are really honing in this morning, is that I have had people come to me and say things that hurt, and at first it was like, oh snap, it was an assault on the ego. It was an assault on personal pride. It was assault on my character. At least it felt that way. And then, as soon as the words exited their mouth, and I felt like, wow, how dare they say that about me? And then I had some time to think about it. And then I've watched and felt gratitude wash over me, like, this person really loves me. This person really cares for me. This person put our friendship on the line for the sake of saying what needed to be said. And the truth that we've been evading, the things that we've been running from, the things that we've not allowed ourselves to accept. The voice of a trusted person spoke exactly what we needed to hear. Well, see, God uses real friends to awake us from spiritual slumber. Real friends say what is true, even when it comes at a high cost. Those kind of friends are hard to find. Right? Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times, a brother is born for adversity. Right? Or sister. All right, those people that are in our lives that help us through all things and help us through those different circumstances. And I'm telling you right now, like, digital friending should be there to enhance, not replace kin. Well, what I mean by that is that digital side of things, whether it be texting or any kind of social media environment, it should be there to increase and enhance that development and that growth of personal relationship, but it should never replace it. There should always be personal connection. There should always be sit-down communication, drinking coffee, talking important conversations, saying what needs to be said. Why? Because a good friend, a real friend, they love at all times. Or in the New Living Translation, it says a friend is always loyal. A brother is born to help in a time of need. Now here's where it gets real, though. Here's where it gets challenging. But what about praying for the friend who is willing to wound us? I know we're talking about sticks and stones, and we're talking about those wounds that we receive that we should not receive. Those things that people have said that have hurt us, that have changed the way we see life, that have damaged us, really. Some of us grew up in homes like that. Some of us have had siblings like that. Some of us, we've had relationships like that. I mean, the school system is rough. I mean, what these kids are hearing, things that are being said to them, like, come to youth group on a Thursday. Like, no, seriously, come to youth group on a Thursday. We could use some help. Come to youth group on a Thursday, and you'll discover, because these kids, man, they're being honest. They're talking to us real. And they're telling us, like, this is going on, and this is going on, and this challenge is happening. And this, and we persuade them not to name names. Sometimes it happens, but, this person said this to me, and it really just knocked me down, and it tore me down. But really, like the question I want to ask you this morning is, yes, sticks and stones can harm us and knock us down and affect us spiritually, but sometimes there comes moments where wounding words are needed. This is not just an idea that I came up with, it's a biblical principle. Proverbs 27:6 in the English Standard Version says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. That means like lots and lots and lots and lots of flattery. They just like, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Like, they may not be like an enemy like you might think like an enemy is, but like an enemy of your soul. They like encourage you into trouble. They just like tell you what you want to hear. They're like, yeah, you'll go for it, or yeah, do this, or yeah, you know. And they profusely kiss you. I mean, that sounds kind of awkward, but they profusely love you and encourage you and tell you you're doing what's right and things are wonderful and just keep going and going and going. And we don't see it, but those are the kinds of people that are actually enemies of our soul because they just nudge us into disastrous situations because they tell us what we want to hear, not what we need to hear.
Amen.
But faithful are the wounds of a friend. The New Living Translation says, wounds from a sincere friend are better than the kisses of an enemy. You see, true friends are not aggressive, all right? Their words aren't pushy, only to win in a theological debate or to settle scores or to prove a point. That's not what I'm talking about this morning. I'm not talking about going toe-to-toe about how you interpret a Bible verse or anything like that. Okay? I'm not talking about the hard truths of political perspective this morning. Okay? I'm not talking about those kind of things. I'm talking about speaking to a friend that you know that if they continue on the road that they're on, the trajectory that they're headed towards is going to be painful and disastrous. And you are thinking in your mind, I've got to say this and it's going to hurt. But I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. We, at times, through the help of Christ, become the scalpel of a surgeon to help cut away the things in the lives of our friends that should not exist within them. And at the same time, when we speak the truth, it hurts. When others speak the truth to us, it hurts. We don't like it. Our egos are affected. Our pride is like just pushed up against. You know, it's not easy. I mean, we're just like trucking along, doing our thing, feeling great, like, oh, life is good, life is good, life is good. And then you don't see something, and your friend sees something, and they're like, hey, I'm calling you on the phone, let's get together for some tea or coffee, whatever you're into, soda, I don't know. And you sit down, and this friend is like, hey, yo, so, I gotta tell you something today. I gotta tell you something today. And it's a hard truth. Now, you'll find out sometimes that on either side, sometimes you'll push back when you shouldn't. Sometimes that person will push back when they shouldn't. But faithful are the wounds of a friend. We live in a politically correct and hypersensitive society, right? Most people aren't real appreciative of criticism, constructive or not. They just don't like it. I know, I don't. But friends with a backbone are as nearly as extinct as they are unwelcomed most of the time. Dare I say, our churches have become far too subdued. Ooh. Oh. I'm not telling you guys to be mean to each other. Okay, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. Like I was talking to you guys about just a little bit earlier, man, I was having a rough, I don't know, like maybe I would say week, but it was more like a couple weeks. And man, I was just like down in the dumps. I was just having a hard time. I'm a human being, right? I'm human. Okay, I know I'm up here speaking this stuff to you right now, but I'm a human being, and I'm I'm in the bedroom and I'm just like, just talking down. And my wife just, man, she comes out of the bathroom and she's like, no! And I'm like, whoa, okay, what's up? You okay, honey? She gave me a little pep talk. And the pep talk wasn't peppy. But it was important. And you can ask her. I mean, you don't have to ask her what the pep talk was about. I mean, that's personal. That was us. But you can ask her, like that night she fell asleep, and I'm sitting in the bed, just like thinking and dwelling, and I'm just like, get your act together, Seth. Come on. What is going on? Stop letting the devil win. Stop being so discouraged. Stop being so broken down. Stop being so afraid. Stop, just stop it. And I woke up feeling refreshed, like, whew, thank goodness she said the hard things. I don't know if you guys have like spouses like that, but they're amazing. It's amazing to have spouses like that. It's amazing to have parents like that too. It's amazing to have children like that as well. Even though it's hard sometimes. Because like when your 12-year-old tells you how it is, you're like, no. I'm the parent. You don't understand the roles in this house. She is biting her tongue right now because she wants to say something. Don't you dare. However, I would be remiss if, as I talk about the sticks and stones that break our bones, the statement, the sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt. The truth is, his names hurt, and they devastate, they crush, causes pain. But I would be remiss if I talked all about the bad things people say to us and never talked about the good wounds. Because sometimes we need to be wounded. Sometimes things need to be said. I mean, let's look at the prime example, the good example, the perfect example. The perfect example is Jesus Christ himself. Real friends, but let's actually back up, before we get there. Real friends are a danger to our iniquity. Real friends are a danger to our iniquity. We can find ourselves in desperate places in a culture afraid of conflict and boldly loving confrontation. Our soul needs a friend willing to do what it takes. A lot of friends that we want, I'll be honest, friends that I want, coddle our egos. But real friends tell the truth all the time. Tell the truth when it needs to be said. Tell the truth when we have this unreasonable voice leading us into places that we shouldn't go. And even the most humble and moral among us set sail away from God's best. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but I have. I've been walking in the wrong direction, and I've literally had a friend, like physically, stand in front of me and say, stop. You don't want to go where you're headed. You don't want to. And then that friend proceeded to tell me some very real and true details about some things that were happening in my life that I didn't want to address. Things I didn't want to talk about. And a bold family of faith who fight and lead us away will shipwreck. Or a bold family of faith, a bold family of faith will fight for one another and lead us away from shipwreck. That's what we have here, right? We're a bold family of faith. We're family, we're friends, we're a community, we're together in this. And as one another grow more closely to the other, you've got to be willing to say the hard truths, even when it wounds. We got to thank our faithful Father The God who is faithful to wound us for the sake of our own good. We've got to thank Jesus being the one who tells us plainly, you flirt with destructive things. The one who tells us we are spiritually immature and it's unacceptable. These friends ask us the hard things. They harm to heal. They crush the whisperer on our shoulder, the one who is not at all about our good. These are the people who know that today's pleasure is gone tomorrow. And fret or fear, not in verbalizing these warnings. Find them, make them, imitate them, honor them. I know it sounds ludicrous, but when a friend wounds you in a way that you need to be wounded, say thank you. Say thank you. Because we belong to a community of grace. And that painful experience that you have is temporary. It's temporary. It hurts for a minute. Our ego and our pride is affected. Our sin is pointed out, and we don't like that. We're not comfortable with that. It's not easy to have our ego and our pride confronted. But real friends, people that really love us, they'll tell us the truth, even when it hurts. And you'll be thankful because those wounds would actually bring you to better places. Proverbs 27:5-6 says, better is an open rebuke than hidden love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Again, reminding you guys of that statement. We've got to realize, okay, bringing it, I mean, we said wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy, but just to back that up, better is open rebuke than hidden love. Open rebuke is a strong word. It just is. It just is. I mean, listen to Jesus for a minute, okay? What are the words of Jesus? We're going to jump to Revelation just for a minute. And in Revelation, they're talking about the church of Laodicea. And the Laodicean church is in this bad place. And they're not living the way that they should be. They're not doing what they should be. And so, this is what the Lord said. He says, I know your words. You're neither cold or hot nor hot. Would that you were either cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. Whew, those are hard words. For you say I'm rich and I'm prospered and I need nothing, not realizing that you are wretched, pitiable, poor, blind, and naked. I counsel you to buy from me gold and refined by the fire so that you may be rich, and white garments so that you may clothe yourself, and the shame of your nakedness may be not be seen, and salve to anoint your eyes so that you may see. Those whom I love, I reprove and discipline. So be zealous and repent. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him, and he with me. The one who conquers, I will grant him to sit with me on my throne, as I also conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. Amen. He who has ear, let him hear. He who has ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. In Laodicea, there was this spring that ran under it, and it brought cool water that was refreshing to the taste. And then the warm water, the hot water, had like medicinal purposes. It was healthy. It was nourishing. It helped. And what Jesus was saying there is like it's bitter to the taste. The way that you're living, the way that you're acting, the person that you are. But in verse 19 he says, Those whom I love, I reprove and discipline. Those he loves, he tells the truth. The church mentioned here in Revelation 3:14-22, Christ warns and instructs them against the lukewarm effects of trusting in material wealth rather than pursuing the vital faith relationship in Christ alone. This church had lost its way. It has impact on the world because it had become occupied with the world, and it left Christ standing outside of the church. It's frightening to me how much some of our churches and our country look the same. Put yourself in Laodicea and allow God to speak the truth to you. Allow God to confront you. Allow God to speak words that will, yes, indeed wound, but wound to bring you to a better place. And Jesus loved his own with comforting words, encouraging words, life-giving words, and yes, hard words. And this is what he did. He backed up every hard word, every sharp word, with 3 piercing nails and a cutting crown of thorns, all for the everlasting good of those he called friends. He hurt his friends in order to help them. He wounded to heal. Perhaps his most clear proof of that is that he was wounded for his friends in order to heal them. This is what I'm telling you guys this morning. Be Jesus. Be Jesus. Be the friend who is willing to wound others with the truth, but don't stop there. Okay? Be like Christ in this. And that not only do we wound those people that we love in the appropriate way, but in that we are also willing to help them carry the pain of that wound, while leading them to the strong and unbreakable support of Christ. What am I saying? I'm saying it like this. All right, so you come at a friend and you tell them the truth. You speak the truth. You say something that's hard and they're just like, ooh, that crushes, that's painful. Don't just like jab and run. Don't do that. When you come to a friend and you say to them, here's the truth, and I'm going to wound you with the truth because you need to hear it. I'm not just going to leave you there in pain. I'm actually going to come up under your shoulder and I'm going to help you stand up. And we're going to walk to Christ together. Because he's the one who carries our burdens. And he's the one who offers forgiveness. And he's the one who carried our shame, carried our brokenness, carried our sin to the cross. He was the one who took the wounds upon himself so that we can be free from our iniquity. You see, true friends are a risk. They are a danger to our iniquities. And Jesus Christ wants to encourage us this morning that there are times, there are moments where a friend says what needs to be said. And it hurts, but they're hurting to heal. They're hurting us so that we can arrive at healing. They're hurting us so that we can get ourselves in a better place. I talked earlier about the pep talk my wife gave me. I love her so much. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've been down and out and feeling broken and feeling just frustrated and all alone. And she's come to me, and there are times when she has been loving and compassionate and held me and loved me. And then there are other times where she has just flat out rebuked me. I'm being honest with you guys this morning to show you that I'm not far from this myself. We all find ourselves in places where we need someone to help us. You see, the Word of God, the Word that we were speaking this morning, the Word that I asked you guys to, as you recollect, to speak out, that Word is there for reproof. It's there to build. It's there to do something in us. And when you come across the text, and God quickens your soul, and you look at a friend, and or he quickens your soul, and you see a friend, and you think, oh my goodness, if I don't share this, God help me. Because faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. You guys want to, you can look at your bullets, and I'm just going to ask you some questions here at the end, or just give you guys some perspective. In Proverbs 27:6, you guys have read that several times, but I want to let me say this: we've all been wounded. The challenge is to determine the intent of our peers' words. Ask God to help you discern if it was for good or if it was for harm. Ask God, help me out, Lord. Because a lot of people say a lot of things. A lot of things. And some of those things are not good things. Some of those things are meant to harm, not to heal. Okay? Ask God to give you the ability to discern. The book of James tells us that if any of us lack wisdom, we should ask God because He gives generously without finding fault. So ask Him for wisdom, ask Him for clarity, ask Him for perspective to see it for what it is. Even if the intent was harm, is there anything you can still learn from what was said? Now this one's a hard one for me, because there have been people before that have said some very hurtful things. And I've had good friends say, okay, you need to take that hurtful statement and you need to ask yourself, okay, God, this person had this intent, but is there anything good that you can get out of this? Right? I had a friend say, when people speak at you, instead of speaking to your heart to help you, chew on the meat, throw the bones over your shoulder. All right? Like, take what's good and give rid of the rest. How will you apply the truths you've come to discover through the wounds you experience, good and bad? How will you apply those truths in your life? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What's the action you're going to take? What are the steps you're going to take? A friend says to you something very challenging, and you're like, ooh, ouch, I don't know. Hit your knees and ask God, God, help me know. Help me know how to apply this to my life. Know that good friends lovingly wound. And last, pray and ask God for wisdom and courage to speak the truth even when it's hard. Sometimes, as we're talking about sticks and stones, this series that we're in right now, sometimes the sticks and stones, I don't want to equate positive wounds to sticks and stones, because sticks and stones are just bad. They hurt. But I really felt like I needed to add this to this set of messages, because sometimes people say the right things, and sometimes the right things hurt. But we need to hear the hurtful right things so that we can heal. Right? Like Christ is our surgeon, and He sees what's in us that needs to be changed, and He goes to work. He begins to cut it out of us so that He can heal us and help us. Sometimes your friend is that extension of Christ, speaking the truth to you even when it's hard. And I would encourage you to hit your knees and ask God. Some of you this morning, in just this message, you thought in your head immediately, there's something I got to say.
There's something I got to say. I've been putting it off for a long time, but it's time. It's time. I need to say that hard truth. I need to say that hard thing. And ask God for courage. Speak the truth. And man, you better make sure that when you speak that truth, that it is saturated. I mean, just saturated in His love, saturated in His mercy, and saturated in His grace. It's got to be saturated in that. It cannot be spoken from human points. It's got to be spoken through the love of Christ. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for truth. God, even this morning, we thank you for the faithful wounds of a friend. God, even I am standing here right now thanking you for the wounds of people who've spoken hard things to me. It's changed my life. I know that I'm on the journey that I'm on right now because people have spoken hard things over me. People have spoken hard things to me. Looking back, God, I know that the woman that I'm married to today would not be the woman I'm married to today if a friend didn't say a hard truth to me over 16, 17 years ago. I could see long-term, God. And you put that person in my life, and it changed everything about how I live today. God, help us to love those kind of friends. And also help us to be those kind of friends. Help us to give the truth, and help us to be able to accept the truth, even when it hurts. Because Jesus, your ultimate purpose, even if it hurts, is you hurt to heal. You hurt to heal. It's in Jesus Christ's name we pray.